All right, we'd like to welcome everyone to our council meeting today. Thank you for being here. All council members are in attendance. Again, we welcome everyone here and appreciate you being here. If you would please turn your phones to vibrate or off, we would appreciate that. And we'll get started. First item on the agenda is our Pledge of Allegiance, and I've asked Ben Barrows, one of our scouts from Troop 292, if he would lead us in that Pledge of Allegiance. So turn that over to Ben.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Ben. We appreciate that. Next on the agenda, we have approval of council meetings, item 5.2.1 of May 2nd, 2017, 5.2.2 council meeting, May 16, 2017. Are there any questions or changes, or a move for approval?
I'll move approval for both sets.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Special recognition. Before we get into that, Mayor Iyer, if we could, we'd like to recognize our scouts that are with us. Ben, why don't we go ahead and start with you, and you tell us what merit badge you're working on, and if you are, and your troop we know is 292, and just your name.
My name is Benjamin Barrows. I'm in 292. We're working on the citizenship and community merit badges, and yeah.
Awesome. Okay, go ahead and you don't have to say everything, just introduce yourself. Thank you.
I'm Justin Barrows.
Welcome. We got a little Barrows here tonight.
Jordan Canis.
Awesome. Any other scouts here? You three? Go ahead and just stand and say your names.
I'm Colin Hill.
And what troop? Do you know?
1993.
1998. That was a good year. All right. Anyway, go ahead.
I'm Colin Winda.
Welcome.
I'm Samuel Zimmerman.
Welcome. And then the leaders. Introduce yourself, Silvio.
I'm Al Kessler on the troop committee. We have 27 boys.
Oh, that's great.
Combined.
That's great.
I'm Jack Campbell.
Three. Isn't that how it goes? 27-3. Yep. I've been there on both parts. Thank you very much. We appreciate any other scouts with us? Current scouts? Anyway, thank you very much. We appreciate that. All right. Next, we'll go to a special recognition. Mayor Iyer will consider a resolution of the Mayor and Municipal Council of Murray City, Utah, in appreciation of Justin Zollinger. President Iyer.
Yes, and Councilman Hales, if you don't mind, if I could do it from a seated position, it would.
Yeah, absolutely.
And a joint resolution of the Mayor and the Murray City Municipal Council in appreciation of Justin Zollinger. Whereas Justin Zollinger has worked for Murray City for over 5 years, beginning on February the 2nd, 2012, culminating his service at Murray City as the financial officer on May the 25th, 2017. And whereas Justin has education and professional degrees, including an associate's degree and master's degree in business administration and is a certified public accountant, he has professional memberships with the Utah and national chapters of the Government Finance Office and Association. And whereas Justin has provided 6 annual municipal budgets and has completed 6 annual financial reports, each year receiving a certificate of achievement for excellence in financial reporting from the Government Finance Officers Association for comprehensive annual financial reports achieving the highest standard in government accounting and financial reporting. And whereas under Justin's leadership, Murray City was awarded the first AAA rating in the city's history. Only one of 2 cities in the state of Utah had to have that rating. Justin was instrumental in presentations to Standards & Poor's and Fitch to establish ratings to secure bonds to purchase properties in the Murray City Center District area for construction of a new city hall. And whereas during his impressive career with Murray City, Justin has saved the city significant money. Debt has been decreased by more than $24 million. This amount includes interest savings on of over $3 million for electrical revenue bonds during several years span, interest savings of approximately $225,000 over a 4-year period on sales tax revenue bonds, and paid off in excess of $1 million to remove the bond covenants from land for the downtown redevelopment preparation. Also, a restructure of other post-employment benefits liabilities for a total reduction in liabilities of over $2.8 million. And whereas Justin has held countless meetings with Mayor Iyer and City Council members, keeping them updated on changes in budget and attaining their direction and financial decisions for the city. And whereas Justin was a great mentor and leader as a department head, encouraging his staff to seek additional education and secure professional certificates to enhance their financial qualifications and become more viable employees. And whereas we will miss his cooperative spirit, his innovative problem solving, his positive can-do attitude, and his daily friendship. And whereas Justin is married to Christy, together they have 5 children, Brant, Hannah, Maylee, Rachel, and Jacob. They are the pride and joy of his life and have been his priority throughout his years, even while working full-time for Murray City. And be it therefore resolved that I, Mayor Iyer, and the Murray City Municipal Council express our sincere gratitude for the contributions made and also express our warm appreciation for Justin's dedication of service and wish him the very best in his future professional endeavors, passed, approved, and adopted by the Mayor and the City Council on this date on the 6th of June 2017. I might have been premature on that.
That's okay.
Sorry.
You're good. You're good.
Sorry.
Thank you. Anything else, Mayor?
Do we have to have a...
Yeah, we'll do that.
Sorry.
We'll go ahead.
Well, then I would like to make the motion that we adopt the joint resolution of the Mayor and Municipal Council of Murray City in appreciation of Justin Zollinger.
I'll second.
Jennifer?
Mr. Naponsky?
Aye.
Mr. Kemp?
Aye.
Mr. Brass?
Aye.
Ms. Turner?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
This has now passed. If I can present this
Yeah,
to-
go ahead, please. Have them come on. Yes.
Yes.
So in my life, I've been able to be on quite a few teams. I want to say this, so just give me a second. I really enjoy being on teams. Whenever you have good results, it's not one person. It's us working together to get it done, to make things happen. And Murray has exceptional leaders. Because of that, we were able to accomplish these things. It's not one person. I mean, the years we're trying to balance the budget and we're down to like a few $1,000s trying to figure it out. And Jeep Burnett's like, you know what? I have a line we can reduce to balance the budget. Or we talk about paying off debt and we strategize Doug Hill and Blaine Hackey. We try to figure out how we're going to reduce that debt. I mean, one year we paid off 43% of our debt in 1 year of our bonds outstanding. And again, that was working together as a team. And Murray has exceptional team members. And I guess the thing that I've come to, the conclusion I've come to is leadership matters. So I hope all of our citizens know the great leaders that we have here at Murray. And I really appreciate you, Mayor Iyer, to be able to work with you, and I'm going to miss you, all of you. But I also am excited because we have a great new team member that we're adding, and she'll do a great job. Denise Steck will do a fantastic job, and I have full confidence in her. So thank you for this.
Oh, I just thank you, Justin. You truly have left the city in a much better shape financially than when you got here. It's always been in good shape, but to pay off all of that debt gives us a lot of options moving forward. It's a fantastic. I still give Justin a hard time for abandoning us. But I also serve on the Central Valley Water Reclamation Facility Board, and Justin has gone there at a time when we, even as Murray City part owner, truly need him as the plant gets rebuilt. So he will continue to look after our money in that position, and for that we're thankful too. Thanks, Justin.
Yeah, Justin, thank you. I'm glad that you'll still be in the city, still be a friend and neighbor. And thank you for your great work, and we really appreciate you. Don't be a stranger.
Can I?
Yeah, please.
Justin, you've been such a wonderful friend and such a wonderful finance leader, and we appreciate that so much. And we're going to miss you, but you're going to come back, and we're going to go to lunch every once in a while, and just thank you for your leadership as well. You've been great.
Awesome.
I would say that, Justin, I've appreciated you as a financial director. You're very qualified. You're very professional. You've done an outstanding job. And you are part of a great team. We've got a tremendous chief of police, chief of fire, public works director, economic development. We really have a superb group of individuals, and you were right. And your replacement is all that we expect her to be. So congratulations to you, and wishing you well.
Great, thank you. Well, Justin, you've abandoned us. Well, I don't have anything to say to you. So anyway, no, I'm kidding. You know, we've been great friends, and we'll continue. And thanks to Christy. Christy, we know that you've been a major support to Justin. So thanks to you and Justin and to your family. We appreciate you. All right. Next, we will, Chief Burnett will have some swearing in with new Murray City police officers.
Can we do something else so I don't have to follow that? No, Justin, we appreciate everything you did and continue to do. These are exciting and changing times in the police department. I know I say that regularly because we've been swearing in a lot of people. We've had a lot of change, a lot of retirements. As the old go out, we get new in, and I think we do a really good job in our recruiting. We look for those that fit Murray, and will come in and do the job and take care of our citizens the way that they expect to be taken care of. And I think I know we have two more that will help fill that role. So I'd like to invite them up. Kayleen Jackson, she comes to us from the Salt Lake Airport Police. She's worked there for about 4 years, so we were lucky enough to steal her away. So we get someone with a little bit of experience. And Alex Eschtruth, who recently got out of the police academy, and so he's new and fresh. And so far, we snuck them out working already. They've already started their training, and they're doing phenomenally. And so we expect nothing but good things from them from here on out. So we'd like to swear them in now. If you want to step up and face them.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Joshua Eschtruth,
Do solemnly swear
to support, obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Utah
and perform the duties of my office as a Murray City police officer with fidelity.
I'd like to have whoever you've asked to pin your badge on come on up and.
I don't know if you would like them to let you stand and introduce your family and friends, anybody that's here that you want to recognize here supporting you. I mean, we like to think of ourselves as a big family, the city and the police department, and where it really starts is the people you've got supporting you, and so we appreciate those that are here for you, and we'd like to recognize them as well.
I literally took almost this half of the room. So I brought family, and they might not be blood related, but I've a dispatcher from my old department who's one of my best friends, two of my best friends, my parents, all of my kids, my husband, who not only supported me in almost 4 years of law enforcement, but was completely my rock when I was in the academy. He let me put him in more defensive tactic moves than he wants to admit, and cuffing and testing and going over notes and staying up until 2 o'clock in the morning studying law. And he probably knows it better than I do at this point, so I really appreciate them. So my family is over here.
Thank you. I appreciate this opportunity. My wife, I met her actually while I was in the police academy, so that was a great opportunity. And then her parents are here to support me as well. My family is in Michigan, possibly watching online. They said that they would be, so we'll see. And then my uncle, who's a current police officer as well, and his kids are here as well to support, and they've been a tremendous help to me. Thank you.
I'd just like to say welcome to a really great police department, to a really great city. And I'm very impressed with, it always says something about someone when they bring this many people with them, and that says a lot. So, and to your family who are watching online, thank you. But welcome. We have a great deal of love and respect for our police department, and I think you're going to be a great asset. So thank you for being part of it.
Welcome to the. Sorry. Welcome to the family, both of you. You'll get a lot of support from us and a lot of appreciation. So we're really glad you're here.
Yep, welcome. Thank you. We appreciate it. And what a great turnout for your family. And I appreciate that all those that you said aren't blood on our family, because that's how it is. It's neat. Okay, we're going to go on to citizen comments. So if your family wants to stay, they can stay for the whole time or get the heck out of here now, whatever. So
Yeah, you do not have to stay to the end.
your choice. Thank you again for being here with them. Look at Justin. He's heading out of here. First time he's ever left early. We'll wait just 1 second, and then we'll close that door. Justin, you do us a favor and close that when you're out there. Thank you. All righty. Thank you again. Next, again, as I said, will be citizen comments. Now, in the next part, we'll have public hearing, and we'll be able to have comments for those two items that are on here. So this is purely citizen comments that you have 3 minutes, come up to the stand there, the stadium, and we have a little form that, Jan, do you have that, or is? Not for citizens. Oh, yeah. You're right. We don't know. You can just say whatever you want for you have 3 minutes. We'll be nice. But anyway, welcome.
Welcome, and I'm going to hurry. My name is Ethel DeFosse. I live at 876 East Red Sage Lane here in Murray. And as many of you know, my husband and I are embarking on what we think will be the adventure of our life. next week. And to do that, we have to leave Murray. We are going to be traveling and living abroad full-time for the foreseeable future, ending only when we either run out of steam or our health fails us. But I could not leave Murray, nor could Carl, without telling you how much we have appreciated living in this city. I want to make a special shout out to the mayor and to the council for giving both Carl and me the opportunity to serve on 2 of your city boards. This has been an honor and a privilege, and it has truly cemented for us what we knew anyway, and that is that we live in the very best city, I think, in the United States and probably in the world. But I'll be better able to tell you that after I come home. But we truly have appreciated that. I leave the Murray City Library Board with the absolute faith that the library here is a jewel, and one that we should really appreciate. I think even in this time of electronic nation, the library is as relevant, if not more relevant, than it has ever been. And I wish that I had more time to tell you about many, many of the things that I learned while being on the board about our library. But may I just say one thing, and that is that I am so proud of how our librarian, under the direction of Kim Fong, the director, has integrated those of us who enjoy reading a paper book and turning the pages, and those of us who enjoy getting information online. You may be familiar with StoryTube. This is an online storytelling program that our librarians have put into place, and it has become wildly popular. I am told that it is watched by people all over the world, and that if we stay on track, and I see no reason why we won't, this StoryTube is being watched by 800, or it has 800,000, will have 800,000 views before the year is over. I think that's amazing that our librarians are making children around the world love to read. My time is up, so I will close by saying that when you meet next at your next council meeting, Carl and I will be somewhere, we don't know yet, in Ecuador, someplace in Ecuador, learning about living close to the equator. After that, who knows where we will be. But wherever we are, I know that if it's true that home is where the heart is, Carl and I will always be citizens and residents of Murray. Thank you.
Okay.
Well, I'm the other half of the DeFosse family, and I wanted to tell you how much I enjoyed being on the Personnel Advisory Committee board here. It's one of those boards where you hope you never have to meet, and that is because when you go through all the administrative process and there's still grievances, then it's this committee that has to meet and make final decisions in regard to it. It shows how well the organization is in the city that we have not had to meet. I've been on the board and have not had to be at one single meeting. But, and that is a good thing for the city. It shows that you have good leadership here, you have good policy in place, and I just wanted to thank the mayor and the council for allowing me to serve on that committee.
If I may, Mr. Chair, I just want to wish you, Carl and Ethel, the very best. Travel well, travel safe, and we look forward to seeing you again and hearing your adventures. So, thank you so much.
I also just wanted to say you'll be missed, and there will be a hole until you return, and then we'll be... Anyway, safe travels, and have a wonderful educational, I'm sure, experience.
And thank you for your willingness to serve on those boards. And let us know where you land, because we'll come visit.
you'll be watching us online, and we'll give a salute, and that'll be for you too. So thank you. We appreciate you guys. Have been awesome. Okay, we'll continue on with our citizen comments. Nothing? Okay, if there's no other comments, then we'll go ahead and close that part of the agenda and go to our public hearings. Our first public hearing is 8.1.1, staff and sponsor presentations, and considered an ordinance adopting the transfer of monies from enterprise funds to the other city funds. Denise, welcome. This is your first. You were here because I was gone. Yes, you're an old time. I know. She's come from other cities, but this is the best city that you. Yeah.
You're right. You're the most well run, that's for sure. So are you ready? Mm-hmm. Okay. This year, sorry, give me a second here. This year the law changed a little bit. Legislation was put through to hold a public hearing for the transfer of monies from the enterprise funds to the general fund. That was the specific legislation, but it added an additional component to it that we would have to have a discussion about any funds that the enterprise fund used that would be for administration and overhead. And so for those in the audience that don't know what enterprise funds are, they're all the utility funds. So it's the power, the stormwater, the sewer, the water fund, those kinds of things. So we're going to go over the accounting for those, not debits and credits, because you're not going to go to sleep on me, but more about why we do that transfer and the intent and purpose of them. So that's kind of the intention of this. So there are two components here. There's a transfer out, and then there's administrative and overhead fees. So I kind of wanted to show you what the difference was. So transfers are calculated based on a percentage of the enterprise fund, and then and administrative fees are actually calculated on the actual amount that we're going to spend. So we did a lot of cost accounting to come up with those numbers. And then transfers out are based on kind of like a for-profit. So a Rocky Mountain Power or a Questar Gas, they make money on what they do and what they sell, the utilities that they sell. And that money goes back to their shareholders. We at Murray City are our shareholders. So the businesses and the citizens are the shareholders. So the intent is that that return on investment then be transferred, a portion of it anyway, back to the general fund. And in return, that keeps our property taxes a lot lower than they would be otherwise. So that was the real intention of what a transfer is. It's more about the return on investment. The administrative cost allocation is more about returning the amount that we contribute. So it's several different departments. It's the city attorney, human resources, administration, administrative and development services, those departments. So human resources, the people that hire, the people that work for those funds. And then the estimated cost to the enterprise fund of administration is $3 million. And then the estimated contribution to the general fund for that transfer is $3.85 million. So in essence, it contributes 8.5% or 8.8% of the revenue that's brought into the general fund, and that's pretty substantial. Otherwise, we would have to have a tax increase that would bring the general fund up to that point, and that would be a substantial tax increase, property tax increase. All right, transfers are moving money from one fund to another, and again, we're going over why we did that, and we did it to subsidize the services that we would require a property tax increase for otherwise. This kind of shows you what amount is being transferred and the percentage of revenue. So we calculated it on the percentage of revenue, and that turquoise piece is the amount that we're contributing. So it's a very small portion of the revenues that come into the enterprise fund. Most of the money is dedicated back to the purpose of the enterprise fund. I have some comparables for other cities. So Thankfully, I have good peers in other cities that will provide me those numbers. Bountiful City, they have an average of 8.5% of their revenue funds that get transferred to the general fund. And Logan is an average of 7.64%. So both of those cities are real comparable to what we do, and ours is an average of 7.63%. So we're right where we should be, comparable to what other cities are doing as well. And then this is kind of showing you that it's been consistent over the last 3 years. So we haven't gone up or down very much. Now, the administrative services overhead is the requirement of the new legislation. We had a cost study. So Justin Zollinger, who you just saw leave, was very forward-thinking and had a cost study done in 2012 by Wildan Financial Services. The cost study provides us a basis for what the services that we provide actually cost the enterprise funds. So it was really easy for me to put this legislation in place, and so I appreciate the work that he did in laying that foundation. Administrative services cost us overall as a city about $6.6 million. And so that cost study showed that about 49.5% of all of the things that those departments do are in service to the enterprise funds. And so we are transferring that amount directly back from the enterprise funds into the general fund, in essence, to pay for the staff that perform those services. And you can kind of see what the percentage is of administrative services. So you can see that the general fund takes the majority of it, which would be expected for parks and recreations and police and fire. But the other pieces are, it would be as if I spent my day, how I would spend my day, and that's pretty much how I would spend my day. How the city attorney would spend his day, and how the mayor might spend his day, and how the council spends their day. So it would be, well, you have 8 minutes and you spend it doing this, and you have 10 minutes doing this, and you have 6 hours doing the general fund, pretty much. So that's it. Are there any questions from the council about the administrative fees or the transfers out? I think that they're pretty consistent, they're fair and reasonable, and they've been calculated based on data and information, not just we think or we guess.
Any questions for Denise?
No, I'd just like to make a comment that the information you provided us beforehand has been really helpful, and it's made it very palatable. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Thanks, Denise. All right, we will now open the public hearing on this for number one, and you can come up. You have 3 minutes to talk about regarding this, and there is a form up here that Jan has. You can fill it out before or after if you're going to come up and speak at the podium. So we open it up for that for this public hearing. Go ahead. You can come on up there. You just state your name, and you can come over and fill that out after. That's good. State your name and address. Thanks so much.
My name is Robert Perry. I live in the east area of Murray, which you annexed in a few years ago. I am not against enterprise fund transfers, but I prefer it to be property tax based. This is a fee base for services, and if you have too much money coming out after rainy day funds and all the costs involved, I think the fees should be lowered across the board and property taxes should be increased. That's the true nature of government, in my feelings, that all property taxes, besides property taxes, are also tax deductible.
Awesome.
And I like not paying taxes.
Sure,
but when we were annexed in from Salt Lake County, this was all property tax based for the stormwater. And now we're being charged roughly $3 a month, no big deal. And I don't know any public servant working for you or anybody else is overpaid, but I would prefer you consider using it for property tax basis, and that way it would be, I think, across the board, everybody would be, I think, more fairly served that way.
Okay.
That's just my opinion.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate that. In fact, I think we all appreciate that you presented that. Thank you. Anyone else? Please, thank you.
My name is Doug Wright. I just have a question, and I may not have listened carefully enough. You said administrative costs or administrative fees were $3 million?
Administrative costs.
So the cost for the transfer was $3 million?
Denise, do you want to come up?
I'm not
so
sure
they
if
can
I
Put you on
understand.
the, we can put you. Thanks, sir.
So we're charging the enterprise fund $3 million just to transfer $3.8 million? Or am I not understanding?
No. Go ahead, Denise.
Okay.
So the transfer is $3 million.
Okay.
The other, there's a separate transfer, so it's not really a transfer, but it's a reimbursement to the general fund for staff that provides administrative services to the enterprise funds, and that's another $3 million. So the total enterprise fund pool is being reduced by $6 million, and it's been given to the general fund.
Okay. So the figure you quoted, 3.8 million, that was for all the other
Administrative
departments?
services.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. No, we appreciate it. Thank you, Denise. Any other, and if you'd please fill out those forms, that'd be great. Any other comments? Okay, we'll close that part. Thank you very much. We really do appreciate when the citizens ask questions like that, and we appreciate the kind manner in which you ask them too. All right. Are there any questions amongst the council? Or would you want to make a motion, or how do you want to go?
I'll make a motion to adopt the ordinance.
No,
Yes.
I think we're going to continue decisions on the ordinance to June 20th.
Oh, that's
as
right.
part of the budget. So a motion to continue, although you've closed the public hearing, there'll be no further public comment. But the decision on the ordinance will be on June 20th, part of the budget.
Okay.
So you need a motion to continue?
Yeah, that would be, yeah.
Okay.
Make that?
Sure. I'll make a motion to continue the ordinance adopting the transfer of monies from enterprise funds to other city funds. Does that work?
To June 20th.
The June 20th and 2017.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
And that's, again, with having the citizen or public comments closed. Okay. Jennifer.
Aye.
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 Aye. Thank you. All right, next we have public hearing number 2. Consider an ordinance adopting the final 2017-2018 fiscal year budgets for Murray City, including the library fund budget. Denise. You probably don't need to really, yeah. Okay. Any questions for Denise regarding the budget? We're going to continue on, same? No, I'll have public. I know I need to.
The public.
Yeah, I'll do the public. Go ahead, Denise.
For the public hearing portion, I think that it's important to note that the tentative budget has been posted on the city's website since May 16th. It's available there for any citizen to review. We amended it about 2 weeks ago, and I posted an amended budget, so it is current, and it is with the intent, that is the budget that we intend to adopt. So if you have any comments or questions, now would be the time to address the council about the budget. And if there's additional comments, you could ask or email me questions.
Thanks, Denise. All right, we will now open this public hearing number 2 for the public. Same idea as last time. Anybody would like to get up? Okay, seeing none, we'll close the public hearing number 2, and we'll consider a motion.
I'll make a motion that we continue the adoption of the ordinance adopting the final 2017-2018 fiscal year budget for Murray City, including the library fund, to June 20th of 2017 at approximately 6:30.
I'll second that.
Jennifer?
Aye.
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 Aye. Thank you. All right. Unfinished business. There's none. There's lots of new business. We'll begin with 10.1. Consider a resolution approving an interlocal cooperation agreement between the city and Utah Department of Transportation to receive funding from the federal aid highway funds for the project consisting of Vine Street, 9th East to 13th East. Doug Hill presenting. Welcome, Doug.
Thank you. The city applied for and received a grant from Wasatch Front Regional Council and UDOT to reconstruct Vine Street between 900 East and 1300 East. The total amount of the grant was $4,290,000. The city is required to match a very small portion of those funds, only 6.77%, which is equal to $290,000 approximately that the city will have to put into this project. So basically we're getting about $4.5 million worth of improvements on Vine Street for $300,000 of city money. These are federal funds that come from the gas tax that all of us pay, and so those are coming back to our city. The plan is to widen Vine Street to an 80-foot right-of-way, and that will include sidewalk, park strip, parking lanes, bicycle lanes, 2 lanes of travel, and a center turn lane. So that will be a great project when it's finished. We are in the process, should you approve this agreement, we will start the design process and hold public hearings this summer or fall time frame, and then the hope is that by 2019 we will do the actual construction of the project. Long term, just by way of information, the city has also applied for and received a similar grant to widen Vine Street from 1300 East Van Winkle Boulevard, much the same way. So when all is said and done, the Vine Street will be a complete street.
Nice.
Great.
So I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Doug?
Just a comment, if I could, mostly for clarification for the public. When you say 2 lanes of travel, that's 1 lane each direction, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions? Thanks, Doug.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Usually it seems like when we get a grant, we have to match it. So kind of nice that we can get that kind of money. Would you get those more often? Thank you. We appreciate Doug. He does a great job for us. Okay.
Are you ready for him?
Absolutely.
It's with great pleasure that I make this motion to adopt the resolution approving an interlocal cooperation agreement between the city and Utah Department of Transportation to receive funding from the federal aid highway funds for the project consisting of Vine Street, 9th East to 13th East.
And I will second.
Thank you. Jennifer?
Aye.
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 Aye. Thanks, Jennifer. All right, next we have 10.2, consider an ordinance amending section 2.66.020 of the Murray City Municipal Code relating to date of publishing notices for elections. And Frank Nakamura, our attorney, presenting.
Yes, and of course, Jennifer Kennedy, if you want to chime in on this. The 2017 legislature made some changes to the election code. We are incorporating those changes. One is that they move the date and notifying the public of the potential election dates and times to file from February 1st to May 1st. And that makes sense. February 1st and announcing it seemed too far removed from the time that you have to file. So they made that change, and they also required a disclosure, a campaign financial disclosure statement to be filed by the candidates who are participating in the primary 7 days before the date of the primary election. Those are new provisions.
Okay, any questions for Frank? If not, a motion.
I'll move we adopt the ordinance amending section 2.66.020 of the Murray City Municipal Code relating to date of publishing notices for elections.
I'll second.
Jennifer?
Aye.
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 Aye. Thanks, Frank. And Jennifer, all right, 10.3, consider an ordinance amending Chapter 12.14 of the Murray City Municipal Code relating to telecommunication franchises, including franchise tax and costs. Frank.
Yes, as we have been trying to update all of our ordinances, and you've been dealing with them, some of them are technical changes that our office could make, but there are some substantive changes to this telecommunications ordinance. And what it is that normally we have a telecommunications tax, but in some cases that tax is not imposed because there are no end users, and these are people that put in telecommunications poles and equipment and then used by others. We feel that there is a cost associated with using our right-of-ways, and so we had enacted this ordinance would impose a fee for these kinds of businesses, and we calculated on a $100 per pole basis and $25 a square foot for the cabinetry, the equipment, ground-mounted equipment, they call it. And these were calculated, assuming that the value of the right-of-way calculated to be $25 a square foot. So these are the best calculations, and these are franchisees who use our right-of-ways that don't pay the telecommunications tax. And those are the main substantive changes to this ordinance.
All right. Thanks, Frank. Any questions for Frank? If not, a motion?
I'll make a motion to adopt the ordinance amending Chapter 12.14 of the Murray City Municipal Code relating to telecommunications franchises, including franchise taxes and costs.
I'll second.
Jennifer?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you again. Next, 10.4, consider an ordinance amending chapters 3.04, 3.28, 3.3, 3.36, 3.40, 3.44, and 3.50, and amending and renumerating chapters 3.05, 3.16, 3.20, 3.24, 3. Am I right? Geez, man, there are a lot of numbers, aren't there? 3.32 and 12.29.
We appreciate the council's patience. We're trying to go through the code and get everything updated, make the technical changes, and we're taking each chapter at a time. And again, in this case, we're dealing with this chapter 3.10. I'm sorry, all the chapters you mentioned that deal with finance. Again, there are technical changes that we could make and updating it. The substantive changes are one that there were some limitations as the kind of payment we were able to receive in terms of fees. Well, we have removed that, and we can accept almost any of the kinds of payments, credit cards, all kinds of legal payment, any form of legal payment. So there's, again, trying to catch up to the technology. And we just tracked the transient room tax. That hasn't changed. It's more tracking with the definitions of the state law on that. Other than that, those are the only substantive changes. Most of it is technical and grammatical, actually.
Great. Any questions for Frank on those 15 chapters?
Yeah, just one, Frank. Does the city have the ability to charge service fee for credit cards if we so desire?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, that's I didn't
cost.
I didn't see that in there, so okay. Thank you. I missed it.
So it is in there, right? Or no? Yeah, okay. Thanks, Blair. Any other questions for Frank? If not, a motion?
I'll make a stab at it. I'll make a motion to adopt an ordinance amending chapters 3.04, 3.28, 3.36, 3.40, 3.44, and 3.50, and amending and renumbering chapters 3.05, 3.16, 3.20, 3.24, 3.32, and 12.29 of the Murray City Municipal Code relating to financial administration.
Awesome. Whoever seconds it, will you please repeat those numbers? Oh, I'm just kidding.
I'll second it. I particularly like the no-fault golf ball claims when you slip in there at
no
the end.
kidding. So does Frank. Okay, Jennifer.
Aye.
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 Aye. Remind you of about 5.5 years ago when I paused on my eye? All right. 10.5, consider an ordinance amending Chapter 3.10 of the Murray City Municipal Code relating to procurement. Frank.
Yes, again, this is trying to update an ordinance. I do want to mention to the public that we have discussed this also thoroughly in a committee of the whole meeting weeks ago. So the council's heard a lot of the details of this in a previously agended meeting. The procurement is a little bit more in terms of changes. We updated the bid limitations to reflect 2017 amounts rather than forcing the people who want to bid to run a calculation and decide what that bid limit is in 2017. We've actually just stated in there. We define more clearly the authority of the purchasing agent who has the responsibility of watching over and managing our procurement processes. Again, here's an update allowing electronic notices, the use of electronic communications in regards to our bid processes. We have updated our small purchases bid limits. We've allowed the procurement with other governmental entities, and this helps us when we then join with the state or the county or even these fire agencies to enhance our procurement. We've actually made the sole source procurement standards a little more strict because we prefer to have an open, as much as we can, a competitive bid process. We have incorporated some of the other construction management programs that like design, build, and procurement process that apply to these different ways of doing construction. Most importantly, I think, is the real property. I've always had issues with this real property and the purchase and sale of real property. What we've defined in here is that the council would surplus the property, require appraisals. The actual purchase and sale of property is done by the mayor, but with these standards, and it just clarifies what happens if we have surplus property and how we are going to go about and buy and sell our property. And of course, then there's a different standard that applies to RDAs and how they buy and sell property. And I think this is, to me, is the most important. It clarifies purchase and sale of property.
Great. Thank you, Frank. Any questions for Frank? Motion?
I'll make a motion to adopt the ordinance amending Chapter 3.10 of the Murray City Municipal Code relating to procurement. I had it easy.
Really? Really?
Second that.
Thank you. Jennifer?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. 10.6, consider an ordinance amending Title 5. Is that correct? Or, gosh, yeah. Really, you look at this and I'm ahead of myself and I'm going like, oh yeah, this is it. All right. Consider an ordinance amending Title 5 of the Murray City Municipal Code relating to business licensing. Frank. Oh, Tim.
I'm going to give Frank a break.
Say that 3 times fast.
Yeah.
Thanks, Tim, for being here.
So this item also was discussed in the committee of the whole meeting, and the details of it we covered with you. There is a lot of information in this business licensing code chapter. a lot of different issues that apply to all the businesses related to licensing elements. Let me just highlight some of the components of this real briefly. A lot of this is based on going through and bringing things up to the standards adopted by state law, even in the recent state legislative session. There were some significant changes, particularly in home occupations and also in food truck licensing for those types of businesses. So I'll highlight that real quickly. I do want to give a lot of credit to Frank and to Bryant Farnsworth and the staff of the Attorney's Office. There's a lot of heavy lifting in this ordinance to make these modifications, and so I appreciate their efforts related to that. So real briefly, let me just highlight some of these issues. Home occupations, the current state legislature and legislation that was adopted under state law now prohibits charging a fee for home occupations unless it, quote, materially exceeds off-site impact. And that was not defined in the state legislature, so we have attempted, working with the Attorney's Office, to define that. And it's basically defined as when you have impacts to the neighborhoods with customers, a number of customers coming, or employees, or vehicular traffic coming to the neighborhoods to a home occupation. That's the basic definition. And so basically we define that, and there are fees required also with major home occupations. That's part of the definition. And so there will be fees required for those types of entities if it's determined that there is that off-site impact, and this outlines those processes. The second component of the code, major component, is related to mobile food trucks. It streamlines the licensing process. If one political subdivision is already reviewed and issued a license for a food truck, then they can provide the necessary documentation from that review, including all of the health safety requirements, and then we can take that information and streamline the process and adopt it. This is all based on state code that was changed. We also did a fee study related to this, and so we defined the fees for mobile food trucks and also the reduction amounts based on that lessened impact of administrative burden for review. There are also a lot of changes related to the alcohol licensing. This includes classification changes and provisions that were changed in state code, bringing it up to current state code requirements. A lot of information provided in that, but once again, it's providing the classifications and coming into adherence with what has been adopted even recently with some of the alcohol licensing processes. We've also amended components where there was bonding requirements. We're eliminating that for certain businesses. And then also there were some changes related to penalties, giving more of a grace period related to the penalties if you do not have a business license and you're a first-time business. And so those are some of the main components. Other changes as well, but like I say, we've covered most of those, and I think this covers the majority of this, so we're recommending approval of the changes of the business licensing ordinance at this time.
Any questions for Tim?
Yeah, I have a couple. Tim, first of all, on 5.04.030 on the city license administrator.
Yes.
This ordinance changes the city recorder by ordinance to the city business license specialist. I'm just curious if this isn't better served to be an administrative function to designate who the business license administrator is, or will the mayor have to come back to the city council? I mean, he will have to come back to the city council to change the ordinance if there's some kind of reorganization in the staff. Just a comment on that.
Yeah, so that change, business licensing used to be in the recorder's office. That was changed when the Administrative and Development Services Department was formed, bringing it that function over into the planning and zoning area where there was more collaboration related to these licenses. That was the reasoning for that. It is designating that business license administrator. If there was a change in that, we probably would have to come back. If they wanted to re-designate that into a different division or department, it would have to come back and go back through the ordinance change.
So basically, we haven't been following the ordinance since that change.
This is up, yes.
Yeah,
And part of it is we're trying to update these ordinances, and this is what happens to us. We were probably delayed in getting that fixed, among other things, and this is one of them, when they made the change in the department, so.
Okay, and so I guess my point is that maybe the ordinance should read that the mayor has the ability to designate the city license administrator, so it doesn't conflict with the ordinance when a change is made. Just a thought.
So how does it read? So
right now, the ordinance actually specifies who the city license administrator will be. I think what Councilmember Camp is suggesting is maybe that's just an administrative appointment. I suppose that could be.
That's what practice has been.
Yeah. The only thing I would say with that, and that's true, practice has been that it has been within the same department, the Administrative and Development Services Department, and defines the functions in the department with some of the changes we've made in the past. But this does clean that up.
Okay.
And if the council wants to allow for that modification, I think that would work. If that's what
But right now it falls under administrative.
It's under Administrative and Development Services, but right now the ordinance reads that it was under the recorder, and then that would be designated.
So actually, if that was changed, it would simply be the city license administrator will be appointed by the mayor.
Yeah.
Or designated by the mayor.
Designated by the mayor.
We're just changing the ordinance to catch up with what we already did. What that does is it allows us.
We do have a lot of these positions identified in ordinance.
Okay. And obviously, this is your recommendation, and I can go either way, but I just wanted to bring that point up.
I'm comfortable with that change.
Whatever you want to do.
If that's what the council wants to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm okay with it the way it is.
I'm good.
Okay. All right. Second question is I didn't see anywhere in this ordinance where the date of renewal notices is specified. Is that just in policy that the renewal goes out the same month that the license is due?
Yeah, that's an administrative function
Okay.
when we send
Okay.
that out. Yeah.
Because even the DMV gives more notice than that, and I if that's in ordinance, I'd like to see that changed. If it's not, then that's up to administration. So.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay, any other questions for Tim? Okay, thank you. Thanks, Blair. All right, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to adopt an ordinance amending Title 5 of the Murray City Municipal Code relating to business licensing.
I'll second.
Jennifer?
Aye.
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 Aye. Thanks, Tim. 10.7, consider an ordinance amending Title 6 of the Murray City Municipal Code relating to animal control. Frank?
Yeah, again, this is mainly to update the ordinances, making the changes, technical changes that our office could make. There is only one substantive change, and that is just to come in compliance with state law to allow, now it allows for 2 dogs, 2 cats. This allows for additional canine, police service canine dogs.
Yeah, I think that's
You
good.
can have, in addition to the 2 that are limited by ordinance. So that's the only substantive change, and that's state law.
Thank you. Any questions for Frank? If not, a motion?
I'll make a motion we adopt the ordinance amending Title 6 of the Murray City Municipal Code relating to animal control.
I'll second.
Jennifer?
Aye.
Aye.
Mr. Brass.
Aye.
Ms. Turner.
Aye.
Mr. Held.
Aye. Thank you. All righty, we'll now have the report of the mayor.
Just have a few items to go over tonight. First of all, this Friday and Saturday will be our annual tree climbing championship over in Murray Park. We have about 10 city employees that will be competing in that, and 3 of our arborists will be competing in that as well. The person who wins the Masters Challenge in that on Saturday will be able to go to Washington, D.C. for the international title. So there'll be some great competition for the annual tree climbing. And as you know, we've got one of the finest in the entire country here in our arborist here. Then on Friday night will be the first of our 4 movies in the park of this year. And the first movie will be Zootopia. And it'll be shown at the Ken Park ballpark, starting at about 9 o'clock at night, because we have to wait until that late for it to get dark enough for it to show on the screen. We'll have 4 movies this year. The last movie will be done, the first time we've done this, in the swimming pool. And so we'll have the entire swimming pool area available for people to be in there, and then there'll be a big screen TV up there. And appropriately, that movie is Moana, I think, which is, so it's going to be a dive-in movie that night.
Oh, my.
That's okay, he's been waiting all day to do that.
That was just about as good as The Paradox, wasn't it? Let's see. We were able to award 2 scholarships to high school seniors this year at Murray High School and Cottonwood High School. As you know, we've had this program for the last 3 years, where we've been able to give a $1,000 scholarship to someone who we thought was really worthy of this, not worthy, but eligible for this scholarship. And the criteria for that was somebody that had overcome serious challenges in their lives, or not specifically someone who had a 4.0 average or was a great athlete or something like that, but someone who might be the first person to ever go to college in their family. Well, the one that was the recipient over at the Murray High School was incredible. She was the young girl who was born in a refugee camp in Nepal, lived in a refugee camp for most of her for her youth, broke her arm severely when she was 6 years old. The doctors over there, who anybody that has any medical training are called doctors over there, wanted to amputate her arm. Her parents decided that they didn't want the arm amputated, that they would make a cast for it. And so they made a cast for this arm. And her arm is somewhat deformed even to this day. And but she came to this country, learned the language, got through school, got a wonderful education through Murray High School, qualified to go to the University of Utah. But she didn't get in on her first attempt at the University of Utah. They denied her, and she went back through the appeals process over and over again until she got in. So that's how determined she was. Her goal is to be a medical doctor and to go back to countries and work in refugee camps.
Wow.
That's great. That's a recipient of a $1,000 reward. So it was quite an honor to give her that award. Also, we have Arts in the Parks that is starting this Saturday. As some of you might be aware of a group called Joshua Creek. They are just a tremendous musical group. They were scheduled to open up our amphitheater on June the 1st, but unfortunately, because of an incident in our amphitheater won't be opening up until the 1st of July. But Joshua Creek has agreed to be there for this Saturday and in our Arts in the Parks thing. Unfortunately, it's going to be over at the Murray High School because of the amphitheater problem that we have. And you can get your tickets through RegTix if you want to go to that. And then Kenneth Hartvitsen, I think I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that last name right, who is a Murray City resident and the curator of the American art at BYU, has his own art in display at our City Hall here through June 27th. And then the last thing I'd just like to mention is with school being out and the warm weather, our parks are at max. And so our pavilions have been rented out